If you're lucky, you, as a member of the American working class, assuming that's what you are, you work a 5-day work week, 2 days off. That is not true for a lot of people, but that's the way it's been for the most part for something like 80 or 90 years, depending on what part of the country you were in. That 5-day work week wasn't really standardized nationwide until I think 1938 in a piece of legislation that was oddly contested, even though it seems very reasonable now. So my question is, and I tweeted this earlier, is it time for a 4-day work week? Has the American worker toiled long and hard enough with ever increasing productivity where now, after almost an additional century after the weekend was developed, that we finally have earned that extra day off?
Full disclosure, this is John's #1 political stance. He's gonna run for Congress one day on this stance alone. You think Andrew Yang just has his universal income proposals. This is John Iadarola's.
This extra day off, it is the workers' dividend, okay?
Yes.
And that's my platform. Vote for me for whatever. What do you guys think? I've got some stats and stuff, I'm gonna go to that, and I've got a really interesting bit of history.
Yeah.
Someone endorsing the 4-day work week, and it is not who you think. But anyway, I don't think there are any politicians pushing for this.
No.
Even the most leftist politicians are not bringing this up. And I've noticed that when I bring it up, I get attacked, and not just from conservatives.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the thing is, our society is based on this whole capitalistic mentality that essentially rides the worker, and they've created this kind of faux representation of an individual, of an American as a hard worker. And so a lot of us have built our identities around how hard we can work. Yeah. And we have 13 million US Americans who are working more than one job. And they're more likely to be women than men, trying to fill up that pay gap and trying to make ends meet. And so if they were going to have an extra day off, it might translate to lower wages, it might translate to more time for you and to realize that your identity isn't based on your profession. And people might be happier, but also the reality is that's not what corporate America that runs our society wants.
Absolutely, it's the corporate America angle. We talked about in the first block about Joe Biden and having to go through these fossil fuel companies to make sure he feels like he can run and have some kind of viability. Again, the corporate America is the ones who are like, you get me? Because I'm sure plenty of people who work in those spaces once they get there can take a day off when they want. So it doesn't affect them. It affects the people who are the wage slaves in a way. Also the question is, which day would it be? Would it be Monday? Would it be Friday?
Or Wednesday.
Oh man,
dude, hit me on Wednesday, right in the middle.
And then we're gonna change things like T-shirts that say, thank God it's Friday. All these meanings would change.
That's too much. It's just too hard to make.
If it's on Wednesday,
shirts?
Hump Day is no longer a thing.
No, it still is, Jayar.
It's just
Think
a dip
about it.
in the middle of the week.
Think about it. Anyway.
But honestly, I had a couple of small serious points. Americans were not good at changing things. We just had Labor Day. And I like the post of people talk about the things that the labor movement did for what you deal with today, which there's plenty of people who still work 7 days a week, by the way. I want to give a shout out to those folks, because there's plenty that still work 7 days a week because they have to. So the labor movement brought you those things like Labor Day, but also the weekend and things like that people love talking about. I was at the store this morning and there was a couple of guys that were stocking and from other companies, and they said, hey, have a good weekend. And I was like, man, that's a thing now. Not now, but it's because of the labor movement. We're not good at things that change. If we had worked 7 day week, 7 work days now, 7 day of a work week now, and we propose things like weekends and 12-year-olds can't work in your factories, people now would lose their minds because we're not good at things that are different. We're like, we've never done that before.
And that is how those ideas were received. It was a radical notion, the idea that workers should get 2 days off and that 14-year-olds should not be working in mines and those sorts of things. And I would say, no offense to anyone individually, but when I say I think that we've earned it, and a lot of people in the working class, some of them are like, that's lazy, why are you lazy? They're responding with corporate talking points.
That's
like we don't even realize how the control is thick around us, that we see it from their point of view, very much so. Not that this is an opportunity for us to have more time with our families, so all of the family values workers, they should like that. Or that, after like earning all that money, how about actually having some time to spend it? That this could be a boost to the economy by having 3 days off to actually do things and spend money and all of that. I just think that we've earned it, and I'm gonna show you some stats. But one thing I've noticed is very interesting. In all the different articles talking about the growth of the 4-day work week, because it is a little bit more common than it used to be, almost all of them are, here are reasons why corporations shouldn't be afraid of this. And I get that, that's a pragmatic way to try to get them over to our side. but it's not really where I'm coming from. I'm not interested in convincing corporations that it's in their best interest. I'm interested in taking it. It's ours, we've earned it. We are far more productive than we were back when we finally earned the 2 days off. I think that we have earned it. We haven't gotten higher wages. I think we're owed, and I think that we should get it in both money and time.
Absolutely, and I think that people don't recognize their power because they've been brainwashed for so long, thinking that, oh, my identity is built around my job and what I do, and oh, I live to work, and this is part of the American dream. No, this is life. You get one shot at this. You get to do it and do it well. There are employers everywhere. You will be fine. If you need to get up, quit, do what you need to do, but you have to take care of you because they are not gonna take care of you, they're gonna take care of them.
And like I said, nobody's pushing for it. No politicians that I know of anyway. I apologize if I'm missing one. But if they did, like let's say if Bernie Sanders came out and said, I'm for a 4-day work week, he would be mocked on Fox News. Sean Hannity would be talking about how lazy he is. And millions of Americans watching Sean Hannity, many of them poor, almost universally white Americans, will be like, yeah, he's lazy. I should be worked to the bone. I should be worked till I drop. Because they don't get that just swimming in their veins is the idea that corporations are better than us and they know what we should do.
Exactly.
Now, I just want to quickly mention this. I just thought this is so weird. Back in 1956 in the New York Times, William Blair reported Nixon foresees 4-day work week. That's an actual article. This is way before President Nixon. So Richard Nixon was quoted as saying, "These are not dreams or boasts. They are simply projections of the gains we have made in the last 4 years. Our hope is to double everyone's standard of living in 10 years." That was 1956. I checked and it's been longer than 10 years. I think that we've earned it because those gains have continued. The issue is who's getting the gains, and it's not us. It hasn't been for a very long time.
Nope.
2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.